Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to explain what DevOps really is. Most engineers get this wrong. They think it is just a job title or a set of tools, but it is actually a fundamental shift in how you build, deploy, and maintain software. I have seen this one concept make or break entire engineering departments. So what does it mean to actually do DevOps in a production environment? Let's look at the core components. We have a lot to get through. Specifically, we will cover the core organizational problems DevOps solves, a physical analogy to help it click, the architecture of automated pipelines, and the 4 pillars of the movement. We will also walk through a real-world scenario to see how this works at scale. Do not skip ahead. Watch all the way through to actually understand this properly. Quick note. This channel shares practical IT tutorials every week. So, if that's useful to you, hit subscribe and join our WhatsApp community linked in the description for more resources. So what is the real problem without DevOps? Think about the old way. Developers want to move fast and ship features. Operations teams want stability and uptime. These two goals are often in conflict. The result is the wall of confusion. The dev team blames the infrastructure, and the ops team blames the application code. This is exactly what DevOps was built to solve. So what is DevOps really? It is the union of people, process, and technology. Think of it like a Formula One pit crew. The driver is like the developer, and the pit crew is like the operations team. If the pit crew does not talk to the driver, or if they have the wrong tools, the car stops. DevOps is the communication and the optimized process that keeps the car moving during the race. Before you can build your first automated pipeline, you need a few things in place. You need basic Linux proficiency. You need a cloud account. You need a container runtime like Docker installed, and you need Git. If you haven't installed these yet, stop and do that now. You can verify your setup by running the version flag on your tools in your terminal. Specifically, that includes a basic understanding of Linux command line basics, access to a cloud environment like AWS or Google Cloud, a basic Git installation to manage your version control, and administrator or sudo level access on your workstation. How does this actually work at an architectural level? It is all about the loop. You start with source code control. Then you move to automated testing. Then you package your application into containers. Then you deploy using infrastructure as code. And finally, you monitor the live system. Every step is automated. If a test fails, the build stops. If the system goes down, the monitoring system notifies the developers immediately. Let's look at a concrete example. On lines 1 to 3, we define our pipeline stages. This is the backbone of the process. On lines 5 to 7, we build our container. If that build fails, the pipeline dies. On lines 9 through 11, we run our tests. Finally, on lines 13 through 15, we deploy to Kubernetes. This is the core concept of automation in action. And this is what you should see when your pipeline runs correctly. It tells you exactly where you are in the process. If any of these steps returned an error, the pipeline would stop, and you would know exactly which step failed. Now look at a production-grade deployment file. Notice the replica count on line 6. That ensures high availability. On line 12, we pull from a private registry. And on line 14, we set resource limits. A senior engineer always sets these limits. Without them, after applying that config, you verify the status with the git deployments command. You want to see that all 3 replicas are ready and available. If you see 0 out of 3, your pods are likely crashing, and you need to check your logs. Here is a classic error. You see ImagePullBackOff. This means Kubernetes cannot download your container image. The root cause is usually a missing authentication secret or a typo in the registry path. You fix this by the fix is to create a registry secret that gives your cluster the credentials it needs to log into your image registry. Once this secret is applied, Kubernetes can authenticate and pull your image successfully. Think about an e-commerce platform during a flash sale. They need to scale instantly. If they are manually configuring servers, they will crash. By using DevOps practices, they automated their infrastructure. Their deployment time dropped from 45 minutes to 3 minutes. That is the difference between a successful sale and a lost revenue event. So when should you use these practices? If your team is deploying frequently, you need this. If your architecture is complex, you need this. But if you are working on a small side project, do not overcomplicate it. The operational overhead of a full DevOps pipeline might be more than you need. To be precise, that covers: use DevOps when your team deploys code more than once per week. Use DevOps if you have multiple services that need independent scaling. Do not use DevOps if you are a single developer on a tiny side project. And do not use DevOps if you lack the budget for cloud automation tools. To recap, remember these points. DevOps is fundamentally about culture, not just buying software. Automation gives you the consistency you need to scale. You must build feedback loops into your process to keep getting better. Treat your infrastructure like code to stop configuration drift, and always set your resource limits. These habits will make you a better engineer. If this video helped you, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Join our WhatsApp community linked in the description for more practical IT resources every week. Thanks for watching. This channel is dedicated to providing knowledgeable content for IT professionals building their skills in Linux, cloud, DevOps, Python, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Subscribe to stay updated, and I will see you in the next one.